Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Tyrese Graham, and I'm the principal here at Uplift Community High School. We are a small and diverse Chicago public high school that serves students from all over the city, from different cultures and ethnic backgrounds. Our school ethos is rooted in social justice and ensuring that all students feel supported and included in the school environment. That's why I'm beyond thrilled that Governor Pritzker chose to come here today to sign this important legislation to make sure that schools live up to our promise that they're open and inclusive of all students. This legislation is an acknowledgement that we must interrogate and correct policies and structures that either intentionally or unintentionally cause disproportionate harm to groups or individuals. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Governor Pritzker.
Well, thank you very much, Principal Graham, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. This is really a terrific day and a great accomplishment. I want to express my appreciation to everyone here at Uplift Community High School for welcoming us, for hosting us, and of course, Principal Graham, you are the kind of leader who is shaping a welcoming community for all of your students. It's a priority for my administration to make Illinois the most inclusive state in the nation, a goal all the more attainable because of all of the stalwart partners in this fight, people like Senator Mike Simmons. And my partner in governance, the great Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. And if we keep clapping for everybody, it will take a long time because there are an awful lot of wonderful people, but I do think that they deserve applause, so we'll save it till the end. Leader Greg Harris, Leader Maddie Hunter, Senators Robert Peters, Christina Passione-Zayas, Alderperson Maria Haddon. So thank you all very much. And the great advocates that are not elected officials but make so much happen for us across the state and of course in Springfield and state government. People like Aisha Davis at the AIDS Foundation, Senn Principal Mary Beck, Sullivan Principal Chad Thomas, who make a real difference in so many people's lives here in our communities. To Mike Simmons and Jet Hawkins. Yeah, it's your stories that inspired the bill that I get to sign today. I'm sorry for the pain that brought us here, but please know that your advocacy will help younger Illinoisans proudly embrace their identities. Ida, thank you for being here to share your family's story. For so many people, how you dress and how you look is an expression of who you are. For others, the choice is as simple as deciding what makes them the most comfortable and confident in their own skin. That should be the beginning and the end of the conversation. But for decades, black people have too often had their natural and protective hairstyles weaponized against them. Black students have been faced with discipline and exclusion at school simply for wearing hairstyles such as afros, braids, and locks with damaging ramifications, in part on their mental health. Black women are more likely to be sent home from the workplace because of their hair, perpetuating the backwards expectation that they must battle their own desired appearance in order to seem to their employers as if they're professional looking. Well, this isn't just a historical problem. Jet's braids were called a dress code violation in March. Nobody should be made to feel less than for how they express themselves, let alone miss out on school days, dances, and after-school sports for how they style their hair. So in Illinois, we're making it so our students never have to deal with what Jet and Ida went through again. Effective January 1st, school uniform and dress code policies in Illinois cannot prohibit or restrict hairstyles historically associated with race, ethnicity, or hair texture. This bill also directs the State Board of Education to produce educational resources about protective and natural hairstyles. This is yet another way that Illinois is making powerful strides in transforming the culture of our schools. Just this spring, we passed legislation aimed at addressing racial inequities in our educational system and have made introduction of Black and Asian American history mandatory curriculum, building on Illinois' legacy of being the first state in the nation to require Holocaust education. Today, we are adding to that progress so students can embrace the power of their heritage rather than compromise their identities. With that, I want to turn this podium over to one of our state's leading voices for justice, equity, and opportunity, and that's our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for the kind introduction and for your leadership in creating a more just, inclusive, and equitable Illinois. Whether beads and braids, locks and twists, no child should be pushed out of school for wearing natural or textured hairstyles. Rather, our children, all of our children, should feel safe, supported, and free to express their individuality and cultural pride in school, an expression that often comes with how we wear our hair. As the mother of 4 daughters who rock their natural hair, and as a woman who has been told that my hair, in the way that it grows out of my head, is less than or violates the rules, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here at Uplift Community High School with Dr. Graham and your incredible team to celebrate the signing of Senate Bill 817 into law. For generations, hairstyles and textures were used to shame and belittle, to discipline and degrade, and it's really unbelievable to me that in 2021, we are still fighting policies in our schools that harm, shame, and discriminate against children, in particular Black children, because of how they wear their hair. Oh, but a mother's love. A mother's love. Miss Ida Nelson, I want to thank you for being a voice not just for Jet, but for all of our sons and daughters, for all of the children of our state who deserve to experience the freedom of being their authentic selves. Thank you for your courage in making today possible. And needless to say, Jet, I couldn't wait to meet you and to let you know that you are amazing just the way you are. And at the age of 4, you're now changing the world, and I'm so proud of you. And to all of the beautiful young people who are here today with your gorgeous hair, I just want to say, keep rocking your crowns and let the whole world know that you are brilliant and bold, and the way that you wear your hair has nothing to do with the intelligence that is in your mind. Thank you for setting the example. I'm so grateful for all who have joined us today in support, who have already been acknowledged by the governor, but I do especially want to thank the bill sponsors, Senator Mike Simmons and Leader Greg Harris, for your bold leadership in paving the way to the Jet Hawkins Law. This is really a game changer for how children will see and embrace themselves, and as we all know, sometimes that's half the battle. Senator Simmons, as the chief sponsor of this bill and a true warrior in the fight for equal justice under the law for all, you are a living example of being free to be who you are and showing up in spaces as your true self. And for so many young people, you are an example of how to walk in authenticity. Thank you for living your truth, and congratulations on now making it possible for so many other children to do the same. I now welcome you to the lectern to give remarks. Senator Simmons.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank Principal Graham for hosting us here at Uplift High School this afternoon in Uptown, as an Uptown resident, Governor Pritzker and colleagues for being here, and Ida Nelson and Jet Hawkins. Shortly after I was sworn in, I continued to read the regular headlines about how black youth across the country were being forced out of school, forced off sports teams, and forced to cut their hair. A few weeks into my term, I was sitting in my Springfield office late one evening, and I read the story about how Jet Hawkins, a 4-year-old black child, had been excited to go to school sporting his new braids, but was told by the school he had to go home and change his hair because it violated the school's dress code. I remember someone texting me that evening about it, saying I should go to the school and read to the kids to make them feel better. But I remember thinking, that's not enough. We can't paper over such stinging injustices any longer. Right away, I called legislative staff and started drafting a bill we came to name after this young hero. As the first black state senator from the 7th District, right here in Uptown, where we all are today, I believe it's important for me to act on my lived experiences. I know from my own childhood what it's like to be regularly belittled, humiliated, isolated, and shamed by adults in a school setting. And it's something that we can no longer accept in Illinois. Black youth have been targeted and mistreated for far too long for expressing and honoring their heritage and their culture. We cannot be holding our youth to spoken and unspoken standards about how you're supposed to sound, act, and in this case, look. And today, that stops. Today, with the signing of the Jet Hawkins Act, we are affirming these youth and making it known that black youth should be able to learn and become who they are without being traumatized and constantly targeted for who they are. I also know that with my own freeform locks, which I've grown for 7 years, it represents a rich intersection of my own parentage with 2 parents from vastly different cultures, as well as my own personal journey as an adult. As the son of a black American mother and an Ethiopian refugee father, my hair symbolizes the complexity of who I am. I want the next generation of black youth out there to have that same option too, to be able to express themselves fully and honor who they are in a school setting that enables learning and discovery and centers young people without imposing outdated and hateful terms on how they should look, act, and sound. I'm proud of you, Jet. I know you're going to be a great leader in the future. You've already started to change our society for the better, and I have a feeling you're just getting started. To kids like Jet out there in the community, we see you. Today is a new day, and your community is behind you. Rise up, youth, walk in your power, and show the world what you're about. We love you. Ida Nelson, thank you, my good friend. I am in awe of your love for your son and your mothership. Thank you as a black mother for empowering Jet and for empowering black youth all across the state with what you've done for our society today. Thank you to black moms everywhere, like my mom, for fighting every day against racist systems for the children that you love. And thank you to black parents across Illinois for empowering your children for the betterment of our collective society. Thank you again, Governor Pritzker, for signing this legislation today and for turning the page so that we're on the right side of history here in Illinois. Thank you. And thank you to my colleagues and stakeholders who got behind this bill. And now I'd like to introduce my state representative who sponsored and carried this bill in the Illinois House, my good friend and my Uptown neighbor, House Majority Leader Greg Harris.
So it's just really exciting to be able to be a part of something that's literally changing history. But we're also correcting a lot of history. today with what we've done. We're correcting a lot of injustice. And hopefully with what we're doing here today, we're also teaching people about what the injustice was, why it was wrong, and why we need to correct it. You know, when I looked at the picture, where'd Jet run off to? There he is, he's over in the back. When I looked at the picture of him in the paper and looked at somebody who was dressed up and proud and looking his best to go to school and begin a career and get an education and a whole lot, and then have his hopes and dreams dashed because someone said, no, you don't look right. I mean, that was just so sad and that was just so wrong. You know, so Jet and Ida, you know, all of us in the Illinois House are just really thrilled. Now, I literally have no stake in this particular issue. I'll just point that out. This bill will not affect me. But it does affect me, and it does affect other members of the House and the Senate, in that we've had to learn about this issue. And something Governor Pritzker mentioned is we've also passed laws that require us to teach accurate, true history of African Americans in America, because we need to learn that history, including the sad and dark parts of that history, you know, for which we now need to make some reparations. We've had to learn about the Holocaust. We're the first state in the Union to require teaching of Asian Americans' part in history and LGBT Illinoisans' part in history. So all of these are steps. I'm just proud to be here today to make one more small step down this path. And now, you know, it's my chance to introduce the real hero for today, you know, a mom who is clearly such a good mom that she raised a son who could stand up and, you know, change a lot of the world. Ida Nelson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today is the day I am proud to be an Illinoisan. This is a monumental event. I would like to express gratitude to Jet, Senator and Governor, for helping me to move our country from an intolerant and repressive system that has directly impacted people of color and have prevented us from being accepted in our true natural states. For us, it is bigger than just hair. Our hair is an extension of who we are as a race and is deeply connected with our cultural identity. This is one huge step towards improving the mental health outcomes for our children, as it ensures that they will be in healthier learning environments. But the work must continue to proactively create safe spaces in schools where children of color are accepted completely, and also in the workplace. That is why it is important that we all look at the crownact.org and sign the petition to make this a nationwide initiative. It is time to change that nationwide. Because our hair, our blackness, our existence deserves to be celebrated, not just tolerated. Now, let's get Governor Pritzker up here to sign this bill into act before we lose Jet here. Jet, that's it. Jet's been waiting for the governor all day. There he is. Jet. Do you want to stand there and make sure that he signs it in the right spot, Jet?
I'm going to give you the first pen. Is that okay? I'd be happy to take questions from members of the media. Well, first of all, for years there have been people who are, I would describe them as carnival barkers, who've been saying that Illinois was losing population every single year over the last 10 years. As it turns out, we didn't lose population over the last 10 years. I'm very pleased to see that Chicago retains its place as the third largest city in the United States. And I'm very pleased to see that there's an affirmation that we are a diverse state, and we remain so. You're suggesting people should run against me? No, honestly, I'm thrilled. Look, this is a state, the first state in the United States to ratify the 13th Amendment ending slavery in the United States. We were the first state to ratify the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote in the United States. We are the state that elected one of the greatest presidents of all time, and that's Abraham Lincoln, and another of the greatest presidents that we've had, and that's Barack Obama. So we are a state that represents diversity, that fights for diversity, and so I'm pleased at the kind of recognition that that's who we are as a state. For politicians, for young people who are thinking about possibly running for public office someday, I think there's an affirmation for them too, that Illinois is a state that is welcoming for them to become great leaders. Well, I'm going to ask Senator Simmons to come up and help, but I just want to say that it's extraordinarily important to me that everybody have equal opportunity to go get jobs that are out there, to retain jobs that are out there, and that we recognize the diversity of our workforce and celebrate it. I love that idea. Ida said it. We should be celebrating our diversity, truly. And so I hope that that is recognized in workplaces all across the state. But I want to ask Senator Simmons to answer the question specifically about hair.
Thank you, Governor. Could you please repeat the question? Yes. Yeah. So we have a bill right now pending in the General Assembly that would do exactly what the Jed Hawkins Act does for workplaces, so that black people in workplaces are not fired, denied promotions, and other things because of their hair. And that bill is pending right now, and we, myself and a number of my colleagues, are going to continue to push on that bill as well. They'll do the exact same things.
Thank you.